Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to discuss about session tracking. Hope you are guys will having a lot of doubt about session tracking and why we need this and what is session tracking, and what are the mechanisms involved in this, and we will discuss everything meanwhile in the following lectures. In this lecture we'll just see what is session tracking, why we need session tracking, what are the different mechanisms for session tracking used. So session tracking, the name itself, it is having two word, it is a two word, right? One is a session and the other is a tracking. So why we need this session tracking? Before going to learn about what is a session tracking, just learn why we need this session tracking. So why we need this session tracking means it is the best way. It is the way to maintain the state of a user. Okay, wait. I know that I'm gonna tell you a very great definitions. It's not about it. Let us see a real-time scenario where we use the session tracking and all these things, so that you will get a good example. I will give a good example so that you will get a very good clarity about it, and then we'll go further discussions or definitions. So today I'm going to explain you a best example. Let me see that we am having a order. I have placed an order from Amazon, and what I have ordered is uh, a t-shirt. Like, I'm gonna order a t-shirt. This t-shirt brand is, let me say that, so some X brand. I have ordered a X brand t-shirt. X brand t-shirt. So whenever I have ordered some a t-shirt, that means in like place the order or whatever, I have placed the order and I went to the in the app, like Amazon, I went to the billing, pay the billing. So I went there and I had just given X brand t-shirt I wanted. Let me say that its cost is a 200, a 250. Okay, its cost is 250. Now with this 250, again I have sent this request to the server, this Amazon server, whatever they were maintaining. I have sent this request to this server. So this server will accept this request and send us the response. So this is me who has ordered some X brand t-shirt. So so this is me who has ordered a X brand t-shirt. Okay, now this server is going to give me a response. So if maybe most of us are nowadays we using all these online shopping, right? So you have a great idea about it. Like when we go for the when we have buy something, it will give us some suggestions like okay, with the same cost you can also buy this item. It will give some following suggestions. Have you ever thought why it is generating all those suggestions? We haven't asked the server to display all these things. Then where it is display, why it is displaying all these things without asking? You'll get a doubt, right? So here what is happening is, whenever we ordered this X brand t-shirt with some 250 cost, so it will show, the server will take this request and save this data and give us the same suggestions as response. It will use it will give your order is something, your total, it also gives those details, and along with that it also gives some suggestions as a response for us, right? When we scroll up, we'll also get some suggestions. So that response is being given to me. Now I have seen some like some white brand t-shirt, white brand t-shirt which costs 200 rupees, and it is a super good quality. Okay, it is a super good quality as well, with the same compete with the same X. So I need this Y brand t-shirt and as well as this X brand t-shirt. I need both the brands of t-shirts. Now I have seen this or this this offer, so I just want to buy it. I just need both the brands. I need to showcase myself. So if we need this vibrant t-shirt, we'll again make a request to the server, that telling that server that I need this vibrant t-shirt which costs some 200 cost. So what will our Amazon server will do? What this server will do? It will add it. So basically it add it, and it will give us the total sum and the GST and whatever the taxes we are gonna pay or they are considering, right? So let me say that we are having some, it is 200, right? So it is 200 and 250, the total will be, so total is, yeah, 0 5, so 50, my bad. So this is what the total, and you can see that here it is not forgetting this 250, it is holding this 250 along with this 200, right? But what in the in the earlier versions of HTTP protocol, it doesn't hold, this HTTP protocol doesn't hold the previous state information. The HTTP protocol doesn't hold the previous state information. This protocol will never hold in the previous days, in the previous generally the HTTP protocol doesn't hold the previous information, previous client's information. So for every request it thinks the request is the new request. It doesn't consider that it is coming from the same client. Here it has observed that it is coming from W client, some Tom is the my client name, and it is coming from the Tom. It has identified it and it has added the 250 along with 200. You can identify it, but here the session tracking is using, that's why it hasn't left the data 250. If there is no session tracking, if you are using a normal HTTP protocol without session tracking, then it loses all the data, previous data, and it considers only the newly arrived data. That means it is not storing the data of this of the client, that is again again coming as a new request. That's why we use the session tracking. So now we'll get a brief idea of what I am saying is, but every time we make a new request, the HTTP protocol will whenever we do a new request, the HTTP protocol will take it as a new client request. It's not, it is coming from the same client. So why we need this session tracking is to maintain the state of the user. You think what is the state of a user? That nothing means the data of a user. Here the data is 250, which is already maintained with the first request, and 200 is the second one, right? But in the session, in the HTTP protocol, if we haven't used the session tracking here, it will just forget this data, will just forget this 250 by 250 rupees, and we'll just evaluate it 200 and will give us, and we will also lose this X t-shirt brand, which is a loss. And it is not even storing what the user has previously ordered, or what it has what he really want, right? So that is the drawback of HTTP protocol. That's why we use the session tracking along HTTP protocol, session tracking, that's why we'll use session tracking. So I have already told you, it is a two word, one is the session and the other is tracking. So let's divide this word. So session, what is a session? It is a time interval between two systems. It is a time interval between two systems, right? It is a time interval between two systems. Pure guys are getting what actually a session and why we need this session, all those things, right? Okay. That is what session tracking. Session, what is the session means? It is time interval between two systems. And why, what is a tracking? That means tracking is observing the session, observing the session between these two. So what actually the tracking is? It is observing. So observing the session is known as tracking. So that is what tracking is. Okay. Now the session and tracking you have observed individually. So we already know why we need this session tracking. What is the drawback? What is the drawback of HTTP protocol? So once we take it as it is a stateless protocol. It is a stateless. Sorry. It is a stateless. That's why to make it stateful, stateless. To make it stateful, we use session tracking. That's why we use session tracking. So that's all about what is a session and what is tracking, why we need this session tracking. So let's go for the formal definition of session tracking. What is a session tracking? It is a mechanism that servlets uses to maintain the state of a series of requests from the client, from the same user across some period of time, some amount of period of time. Let me say that from 9 to 1, and this is considered as a session, right? A session. That means it has both, all 10, 11, 12, up to 1. This is all a session. This is all considered as a session. This all is considered as a session. This is what a session means. It is a particular amount of time. So this is what a session tracking. That's the form. What is the formal definition of session tracking is? Session tracking is a mechanism that servlets use it to maintain the state about a series of requests from the same user across some same amount of time, across some period of time or some amount of time. Is going to maintain the data of the client for any number of requests in series. That is known as a session tracking. Hope you guys got a better understanding about session tracking, and don't forget to share this video whoever facing difficulties about session tracking to understand. And the following upcoming videos will discuss about the session tracking mechanisms. And before closing the session, I would like to introduce the session tracking mechanism for you guys, which gives some more enthusiasm to learn about what is all this session tracking is. First one is HTTP session tracking mechanism. And the second one is cookies session tracking mechanism. And third one is URL rewriting. Rewriting mechanism. and fourth one is hidden form fields. Hidden form fields. Okay, these are the four mechanisms we use to track the session. These are the four mechanisms we use it for session tracking in Java. So every HTTP, every server side technology must and should use the session tracking mechanism, since the HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol, so that every I can give a note, like, sorry, I can mention as a note that every server side technology should have a session tracking mechanisms, because HTTP protocol is stateless. Hope you guys got a better understanding about this, all these things, and you still have doubts, you can pin in the comment sections. I will give you a brief understanding about each and every concept. So please subscribe our channel and don't forget to share this video for the friends who have been troubling with advanced Java and who thinks that advanced Java is like a hell. And stay tuned to my updates, and we will continue the series from the session tracking to up to the Spring Boot. And you hope you guys enjoyed the session, and thank you.